Welcome, everybody, to the DFS Money Shot. I am Scott Simpson. Excited to be here tonight. Looks like my video is already lagging, Michael, so don't kill me for that. But I'm excited to have you here. This is the first official installment of the DFS Money Shot this year. We had one with Bo tucked into one of our podcasts last week, but I'm excited to bring Michael Hauff, the FF Realist, on Twitter. Welcome, brother. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing? And don't worry about lagging. It's like one of those old Japanese films. It's all good.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me. I asked you how you're doing, and it's something we always say, kind of how you're doing and stuff. Honestly, I'm doing well. I know that you're doing well, but not all is well in the fantasy community today. Unfortunately, we lost one of the greatest in our midst. Mike Tagliere over at Fantasy Pros, an amazing person, husband, father. Analyst, a grinder every week. Just a real sad situation going on in our community. So, I wanted to kind of just touch on that as we start our show and just acknowledge, how much he meant to everybody in our community, myself, yourself included. And just, I wanted to ask you, what was your experience with Tags? I know you've had him on the Podathon before, and kind of just give a chance to, celebrate somebody who we care about in this industry.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, that's the extent of my conversations with him was that Podathon. But I talked to him we had guests on for a half hour. It's like get him on, get him over, get the next guest in, move it along. But Tags was one of those people I interviewed where I was like, that was a lot of fun, and I got the sense of talking to him for just a half hour of what everybody in the community always thought so highly of him for. You hear all these things, great father, great, so on and so forth, great family guy. And, you got a sense of that on Twitter, but even the fantasy mind, the man, I hated Christian Kirk forever and a day. And within a sentence, the man got me to say, you know what, maybe he's right. Holy smokes. I just, it sucks. I said to you, it always happens to the good ones. I had his wife on my tweet alerts, and, I saw the tweet pop up, and I knew what it said. I didn't want to read it again, but it's, if we take any solace, it's just the fantasy community. Yet again, listen, we fight like cats and dogs. We're all idiots sometimes, but you know what? We come together like no other. And the money that's been raised on GoFundMe, it's been pretty incredible. So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
There is no replacing it. There's no whatever, but I hope it helps, in some aspect.
Yeah, please do go donate. I've already made a donation. I've already tweeted it out to get people going. If you put in Mike Tag Strong, I think, into Twitter, or Mike Tagliere, whatever it is, I think you'll find it. And please do, help Tabby, help the family, help them to be able to kind of, pick up the pieces. You never, like you said, Michael, you never can replace anybody, but you can just help them get through this time by them not having to worry about all those other things that kind of come up that, that just really weigh down and make it harder for us to kind of process our hardship and our trauma. So, and please, we do praying for them and their family. We love Mike a lot here. So anything you do on Twitter, tweet out, just spread that positivity about Mike and what he meant to you. So I will say this, I started my fantasy football writing 2 years ago. I started my own site, and in my first article called A Shot in the Darkness, I named several fantasy football analysts who inspired me, and Tags was in there. He was in there as Tags, and that's how I always thought of him. So, rest in peace, Tags. Love you, brother. Never thought I'd be saying that. I mean, it's wild. I mean, it just blows my mind. But loved you, appreciated you so much, your craft, your art, your hard work, who you were in this community. And if I can be a little bit like you every day, I'm going to know I'm going to be a better person and be more successful and just crush it in fantasy football like you did. So love you, brother. And this one's for you. Cheers to you, Tags.
Cheers.
Drinking an Oktoberfest. Excuse me. A good one. What do you got over there, Mike? What are you drinking today?
Little Canadian style, going a little Labatt Blue.
Labatt Blue. I like it. Little John Candy would be proud, right?
That's right.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with some Moosehead Lager and some Labatt Blue, Go a little Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go, And so I'm not going to make fun of the Canadians too much. They got a bunch of amazing Canadians, and they'll beat me up too if I complain about them. They'll come down here, they'll find me, and
Bret Hart will slap the sharpshooter on you. That's it.
body slam me in a heartbeat, dude.
Right.
So I'm not a tough talker. What I am, though, is a tough DFS nut to crack against you, my friend.
Evidently.
Evidently, everybody else could crush me. But the big time notwithstanding, this week I did put the beat down on Bo. Shout out. He said I hadn't beaten him since the Trump administration.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I did beat him last week. But last year I beat you. You're coming back to avenge this loss here. So let's talk about the show, how it works. We have a DraftKings head-to-head contest. I shared it with you earlier. It's going to be for $20. The winner, whoever wins, we're going to donate this to Tags and his family. And then, I mean, for me, if I lose, I'm going to donate either way. So,
right. Same here. Yeah.
I mean, this is, but the idea is to kind of put your money where your mouth is with your players. And last year it was for $50. We went kind of balls to the wall. So kind of, ran it in a little bit, but that's okay. It's 2021. We don't need to be crazy. We know the world's
I forgot about that. We did $50 last time.
Oh man, it was the biggest one I won all year. So,
well, maybe we'll revisit before the season ends. And
I do have a tournament of champions at the end. You could jump in there for sure. So let's talk about. We get into the DraftKings head-to-head. We don't know who the other person has. We don't see their screen or their lineups kind of before. So we're gonna share. I'm gonna see if I can do this on my screen here. Yeah. I think it's working. All right. Make sure I can see it. And yes, okay, there it is. So this is our DFS Money Shot graphic. We've got myself, my good-looking old bearded man. Nimble W numbers. I've shaved it off for the wife, looking younger. And this is a nice avatar. You're looking svelte and handsome in this picture as well. Not that you don't now, of course, but you're looking good.
Thank you. Yeah, my everybody who knows me though, they don't like that picture because they think I'm too scrawny. But I have to remind them, I haven't. There hasn't been a picture of me standing in front of a bar, in front of a dumbbell in quite some time. So it's the photo kind of fits, but I like it. I think it's good.
I like it, and I think of you every time I see it. I mean, obviously, it's your account, but it fits well. So let's jump in right away to our quarterbacks and talk about where we paid up, because we both paid up for quarterbacks here. I went with Lamar Jackson, 7,800. You went with Kyler Murray, 500 more. Not that expensive, though, at 8,300. Talk about what you see in Kyler so far and why you have him as your QB in this game.
Kyler Murray, I'm seeing a lot of what we saw at the beginning of the season last year, playing just video game numbers. You remember last year when he had that smile as he's throwing the pass, like that. That's how we feel playing DFS with Kyler Murray. I mean, week 1, 34.56, week 2, 38.10. He had 3 games. Let me see. Last season, 3 games with 25 or more points scored. He's already got 2 right now. So I'm all about Kyler Murray. I'm gonna keep riding this hot hand. And I know DeAndre Hopkins has been limited in practice, so on and so forth. Whether he plays, whether he doesn't, I think this is a good matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm still more than willing to pay up. So happily playing Kyler Murray here.
I'm going to concur with you. I like this play a lot. I wrote about him as one of the pay up players this week who, I'm going to give my money to because he is worth it. He's point per dollar. He's going to give you that value every time. I like him in GPP as well, but maybe not. His ceiling's a little capped if Hopkins doesn't play. But we'll see. For me, I went with Lamar, and Lamar Jackson is the Ravens' offense. He's the best running back. He every once in a while throws football downfield, which is nice. He's got Hollywood kind of back in the groove. Mark Andrews yet
loving Hollywood Brown.
Oh man, Mark Andrews yet to go off, but we know he's capable of doing that and kind of taking over, getting 2 touchdowns. So, but really, Lamar on the ground has been just stellar so far. Through 2 games, and so what we've seen is 2 touchdowns, almost 200 yards rushing, over 440 yards passing. So he's doing both. That's almost 700 yards he's accounting for. And so I love it, especially when you're getting those rushing yards from him. What do you think about him this week? Did you consider him? Are you worried about the illness on Friday? He was out of practice, in and out. What do you think?
I'm not really worried about the illness. I mean, to be honest, when I saw that it was an illness, I kind of got a flashback of him jogging to the restroom during that playoff game. Maybe he had maybe he had a little bit of that going on. But no, I don't worry about that. I think he'll be just fine. It's a nice matchup for him. And again, these are the type of quarterbacks you pay up for. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I like the very unsexy stack of like a Daniel Jones and like a Sterling Shepard. But listen, when you want to play hard, you grab those big quarterbacks. I knew I was going to have some stiff competition with you, so you grab those top tier quarterbacks. So I like the Lamar Jackson pick.
I like both our quarterbacks. They get the rushing upside, the 6 point per touchdown we score. And I mean, Kyler Murray's got at least 1 per game in him almost this year so far. He had 11 last year. That's a lot of touchdowns in 16 games, to rush for. So I think they both have upside, touchdown upside rushing, and then passing. They're up against terrible defenses in Jacksonville and Detroit. And also, the only thing I would say, the reason I leaned Jackson here is that Detroit is going to go up against the Ravens, kind of backups on the front end of the defensive side. So there might be points to be had for Detroit. And so that kind of made me think Lamar might be kind of in the game more. If Kyler Murray gets out of hand, maybe they don't use him as much. But still, I mean, this is video game time. Like, right. I think Cliff Kingsbury understands that. He's a millennial, right? He's just like, we're going to score points and smoke joints. Let's go.
That's it.
Yeah, I like it.
To live.
Exactly. So, all right, let's talk about our RBs. I'm going to reveal kind of both at the same time. So we'll kind of get the pull down here. You paid down, value back for days. You've got Tyson Williams and Cordell Patterson, who my wife thought was named Cordelia Patterson. It's Cordero Patterson. I'm sorry, not Cordelio. My wife also thought TJ Hawkinson was TJ Hockenhouse. So neither here nor there. What are you doing here? What are you building here with these pay down backs? What's your thought process?
Well, to be clear, my wife also thought that Cordarrelle Patterson is Corduroy Patterson. So I had to tell her. She's been saying that for a while, actually. I thought about this with Cordarrelle Patterson specifically. That never have I ever game. Well, never have I ever used Cordarrelle Patterson in DraftKings. I have not, and I am doing it this week. Listen, you'll see as the rest of my lineup unfolds that this was a bit of a cost-cutting measure, but one that I'm a little bit confident because I think that the Falcons' offensive line is in such bad shape that I think it bodes well for a Cordarrelle Patterson over a Mike Davis, especially if the game gets – I'm not going to say it gets out of hand because they're playing the Giants. But if it gets to a point where they can't do a whole ground and pound, if they have to actually keep up with a score, I think it bodes well for Cordarrelle Patterson. So, 14 attempts so far this year, 65 yards. He's got a touchdown through the air, on the ground. I'm going to buy in, and I think that as we see the rest of my lineup unfold here, I think that we'll see that there is more 20-point scores to be had where maybe they can support Cordarrelle Patterson here.
No, I like it. And then if you think about it, he's their number one leading fantasy point getter, not Calvin Ridley so far, not Kyle Pitts. It's Cordell Patterson. So nice little play. I'm gambling a little bit too here on my end. I went Saquon Barkley, who's not doing anything. He went for 140-yard run, but he's up against Atlanta. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. They're terrible on defense. They give up tons of yards to the running back, and they also give up tons of points too. So this is a plus matchup here. I like it. I think they're 20th overall, giving up about 25 points per game, 24.7 or something. So, Saquon can get 20 of those. I'm in business,
right?
On that end. And so that's what I was kind of thinking there. He's yet to do it, though, so it's a little bit risky. What do you think about Saquon? Are you ready to kind of, jump all in with him, or are you kind of still hesitant?
No, I'm not going to lie, actually. Saquon was a play that I debated making, but I obviously didn't. He's not my flex, spoiler alert, but I do have him in another DraftKings contest I'm doing. So I do buy into, listen, we all knew that there was going to be slow usage going into the year. This was alluded to, throughout the whole summer.
Right.
And then he entered some matchups. Like you look at the last game they had against Washington, that was not really a matchup that really was good for Saquon and his rushing numbers. So on top of easing him in, it's not a great matchup. So I think now is a matchup where we can start to actually see them put some faith into him, put him back in that offensive system. So I do like Saquon here. I do think that he plays well. And he's actually, I'm pretty sure that he's never been cheaper than he is this week in his whole entire career. So,
right. And that's why
not?
Right. And that's why I jumped in on him is the cheapness.
Yep.
And also, I respect the fantasy points guys over there, and I heard, Graham Barfield talking some stuff and Scott Barrett and Dr. John Proctor. So there was some excitement about Barkley and his cheapness and kind of how, he could be a nice little bounce back option. So, but the next running backs, what I love about this is same game, same price, different sides of the coin. I've got DeAndre Swift. You've got Tyson. Is that his name? Tyson Williams.
Tyson, whatever.
Tyson Williams. We got T. Williams in the house.
There you go.
800. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think it's a great matchup for both the running backs, but I mean, I'll speak specifically to my guy. Tyson, Ty, Ty, T. Williams, whatever the hell you want to call him. Whatever you call him, doesn't matter whether you call him Scott Simpson or Michael Hauff. He's going up against this Detroit Lions defense, which was last year, did not do well against running backs. It's following through this year. Mm-hmm. We saw what happened on Monday Night Football. It's going to continue here. The Lions are just going to be, I think it's funny. Some people say like, oh, don't buy into the year before numbers with defenses because defenses change. Well, sometimes defenses don't change. And the Lions, unfortunately, are one of those defenses with running backs. So I think that a lot of the running backs here are going to eat, but I think this is a great matchup here for Williams, specifically in that Ravens backfield. And I guess I'm kind of betting against you in the sense that I'm thinking that maybe this game will be out of hand and maybe the Ravens will run a little bit more. So we'll see who turns out to be correct on that front with you having Jackson, me having, and me having Williams. But I'm going to buy in 5,800, man. Again, you'll see why as the rest of the roster unfolds, but I had to bet small here at running back, but I'm confident, especially in Williams.
I like it, and there's still a lot of money to be had on both sides, so I'm sure we're going to get to it. Let's talk receivers here. We'll go one by one. We pay down options both in the lower half here. I've got Marvin Jones Jr., the wide receiver one on the Jacksonville Jaguars, also formerly of the Detroit Lions. They're getting a lot of run in this program here. You have a Detroit Lions actual wide receiver, Quintez Cephas. Let's talk about this here. Why do you have the Q master in your lineup here? What do you see in him this week?
Yeah, listen, I see that with Quintez Cephas, I see that he is the second most targeted Detroit Lions player. The other one will probably come up again in this program, but the second most targeted Detroit Lion is only 3,900. And also, Tyrell Williams is now on injured reserve with a concussion. While we hope that he heals up, good to go, because concussions are serious. We do think that this is a prime, and I say we do, as in me, Quintez Cephas. This is a nice matchup for him, and this is a nice opportunity for him to increase on those targets. So I'm betting on opportunity here, and I'm betting that on Jared Goff has liked him. Listen, he had that one catch early, deep catch for him. Didn't make a ton of noise after that, but I think that we could see a nice matchup here. And again, if they're playing catch up, this could bode well for a Quintez Cephas. So I don't have a ton of faith in Jared Goff, but Cephas I do.
I also want to let you know that the Ravens have been terrible giving up tons of yards on the back end to wide receivers. Just take a look at their first two games. You'll see that they did not do well. Travis Kelce's still running in the secondary, I believe, rumbling, bumbling, and they lost a linebacker to COVID protocol, and then they lost close contacts on the D-line. Jared Goff is going to have all day. He's going to be able to sit back there and pick them apart. I think this is a great play at under 4K. It's basically a lotto ticket. So if you are playing in GPP, Quintez Cephas, a nice little nugget in your back pocket.
Yeah. Mine feels very much like a GPP.
You got to go big or go home against, your boy Scotty Stacks. That's how it goes.
But Marvin Jones for you.
Oh, I gotta say, I love Marvin Jones, and the reason I love him is because he's gotten 10 targets a game because they're losing and they suck and they got to throw the football to somebody. You know what I mean? Like somebody's got to get that pigskin coming their way. And so I think it's Marvin Jones. He's the best polished receiver out of, DJ Shark and Laviska Shenault. They're both good athletes. They're both good receivers, but Marvin Jones is a professional receiver. Like that man has won people millions of dollars before. So
they're losing and they suck. Not something Urban Meyer thought he was going to have to hear, but
we all knew.
Here we are.
We all knew.
We all knew.
Fantasy Twitter could have told you right away who would suck this year. By the way, Michael, you're not a Giants fan, are you?
God no.
Okay.
Oh God no. I am a diehard 49er fan. I live in New York.
Thank God. I knew you lived in New York. That's why I was worried that are you from New York originally, or are you transplanted?
Yep. No, I have been here, born and raised. I will say that due to my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, I am a Jet supporter for life, but I am through and through a 49er fan. So
no, I like it. You got to go with the winners, you know. And I'm glad that Eli had a couple of fluke plays. I really am, because Tom Brady would be insufferable with 9 Super Bowl. I mean, that'd just be ridiculous. So, but I will say, I'm excited that Marvin Jones, back to Marvin Jones, has those 10 targets per game. I think he'll continue to get them, and Urban Meyer can suck it because he's not a good coach.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of foreshadow for something real quick. When I pull down here, okay, I was wondering. Okay, good. I've got Cooper Kupp everywhere, so I was afraid I had him in here too. But you have Cooper Kupp. Let's talk about Cooper Kupp, the number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League for fantasy points, DraftKings points. Let's talk about him. Did you see it coming? Did you call it? I kind of did not.
I didn't call this year specifically, but my partner in crime, Anthony Servino, will tell you that forever and always I have been the Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods guy. I've been saying it forever. I thought that the Matthew Stafford thing just put Cooper Kupp in a better spot, in my opinion. I thought it would work out better for him, and so far it has. Listen, it's 2 weeks. Could it change? Sure, but I mean, right now, how could you not go with Cooper Kupp? And here's the thing. Even if the points subside, again, he's got, well, this is kind of scary, though. He's got 66.6 DraftKings points, so that's got to change really quick. But all jokes aside, even if the targets go down for Cooper Kupp, even if he's not as productive, this is going to be a matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, when you're doing these sorts of things with DraftKings, you want to look at those over, you want to look at the over-unders. You want to look at the implied point totals. You want to see who's supposed to score a lot of points. And this is a game in which there could be a lot of points scored. You talked about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to have something to say in this matchup. And if Matthew Stafford's going to have to go toe-to-toe with the great one, with the GOAT, if you will. Listen, Is Cooper Kupp going to get 39.8 points like he did in week 2? No. But listen, if he's getting me 25, if he's getting me 30, I'm very happy, especially with the bargains that I'm making at running back. This is where I'm starting to spend large here. Yeah,
no, I like it. And Cooper Kupp at 6,800. They priced him up the week before because he did well, and then they priced him up again. And same thing with Rob Gronkowski. It's hilarious watching them.
It's another one.
Points. I know. But still, I love it. I went with the second best wide receiver in points in DraftKings and fantasy football is Tyler Lockett.
Man, alive.
Oh, man. I'm so excited that I made him one of my poster boys for wide receiver 2 theory this year because my other ones have just been falling flat on their faces, which is discouraging. But Tyler Lockett, shout out Matt Harmon. Love that guy. He has been on fire. 2 long touchdown catches. You see his 4.4 speed in action against these poor DBs who he separates from the moment he tracks the ball. It's about 10 yards in the air away. Next thing you know, he is gone. I fucking love it. That's my kind of spiel on Lockett. What do you think about him this year? Are you going to go kind of back and forth with him and Metcalf? Are you the blue-haired bandit? Is he out? Because that's what DK Metcalf is right now. He's got
I don't think he's out, but I definitely the thing I keep thinking of is, remember last year he had that one big game against the Cardinals. Might have been a Sunday Night Football game. I know it was in Arizona where he went absolutely bananas, but every other week inconsistent, or consistently inconsistent is probably the better way to phrase it. But this year, out of the gates with a big, healthy reminder to those who drafted him this year that he is not the player that he was last year. So if people stood in that proverbial fire and drafted Tyrell Lockett anyway, then good for you guys. And yeah, for DraftKings purposes, this is another guy who's in a couple of my other lineups too. So it's, it's gonna be hard for me to root against him this week. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'll also say that they're playing the Minnesota Vikings,
Ugh.
and they give up yards and points and touchdowns for days. They did it last year. As much as Mike Zimmer wants to be a defensive coach, I think he has to come to the realization that his defense sucks.
Well, that's how he got the. This is the thing I always find fascinating.
Wild.
Watching him in Cincinnati with Marvin Lewis back in the day. This is how he got the gig, is by being a defensive coordinator. And it makes me start to wonder: is Mike Zimmer one of those guys who's better suited to just be a coordinator, over a head coach?
Well, I mean, when he played, when he coached under Marvin Lewis was a better coordinator than he was a coach too. So, and then guess what? So was the coach of the Browns. I forget his name right now. I can see him yelling. Hugh Jackson, yeah, much better position coach than he was a head coach. And so I think being a head coach is a different beast. It's like being a principal of a school or being the CEO of a company. Either it's just you're a weirdo, kind of like Andy Reid, just like doing your own thing, like Bill Belichick ended up, or you're like one of these young, hot, college guys, or McVay or Cliff Kingsbury. You got a little pistol in your pocket, you got some kind of big scheme, you're running 98 plays a week or something. So I think there's ways that you kind of present yourself and you run the show, and there's some guys just don't know how to run the show and manage the game. You saw that with Anthony Lynn. He's doing great with Jared Goff as the offensive coordinator. He's terrible as the head coach. One of my favorite quotes a couple years or last year after he lost one of the games, I asked him, like, did you not understand you couldn't run the ball there with under a minute left and you had no timeouts? And did you forget that? And he was like, I don't know what happened. You're just like, you're the head coach, bro. So, I agree with you there.
I think the principal analogy is a great one. I think it's, I think it's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, and in this case, you got Matthew Stafford and Russ Wilson. Those are principals I'd love to go to school with. So both these guys have upside. I do like Cooper Kupp a little bit more personally. I'm not going to lie. You got a good player there. Speaking of good players, we're both going big here. Go big or go home. Rondale Moore, talk about him. Purdue product. I mean, just shifty as all get out. What do you think about him here?
Rondale Moore was a product of not loving what I'm reading about DeAndre Hopkins this week in practice, whether he plays or whether he doesn't. Obviously, I've got Kyler Murray there, so I want to get some sort of connection. So Rondale Moore was a very cost-effective way to get a connection at $5,000, one of the best players in the fantasy football, his quarterback, Kyler Murray. So, and I'm also looking at last week, 27.4 points from Rondale Moore. I mean, I know week one, only 10.8, but again, if DeAndre Hopkins is tripped up in any way where he cannot perform or up to his ability, Rondale Moore should see a considerable amount of targets. 7 of 8 last week, 114 yards and touchdown. I like that to happen potentially again in week 3. Apologize. So I'm in.
Yeah. I don't apologize because he's going to be doing it more than just week 2 and 3. I mean, it's going to be
true.
Freudian slip for many as they talk about Rondale Moore. I love him. Picked him up on the back end of a lot of drafts in Dynasty. So shout out me. On my side, I've got Mike Williams, who I remember the fantasy footballers talking about him a couple years ago about his potential. That year he had 10 touchdowns. I think he only had like 600 yards. We had 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, one of those touchdown dependent years. Yeah.
Right, but and then he battled injury on and off. But with Herbert, man, and we kind of knew this. He was, you played best ball over there on Underdog. Shout out Underdog. If you're playing over there, I'm sure you could use promo code FFFaceOff, but you should use code Nimble. I'm just saying because that's how it goes for me.
I'm a guest here, so yes, you can use that.
Either one.
That's right.
I would jump in and play with you in any of these different things. I probably got a couple $1,000 in there. I don't know, whatever. That's why you become a tout, is you can take your tout money, put it right back into that. That's what they want. It's a system. But I'm going to put a lot of that money back to anywho. Mike Williams coming through already. A top 20 wide receiver this year with Justin Herbert. I like him to continue. He's priced up a little bit, but worth the value. And in this game, you're going to be surprised at this, but they're like the The KC Chiefs have given up like 900 yards so far this year, like insane amounts of yards because they're scoring so much. They're always putting the pedal to the metal that their defense just can't. I mean, they're high scoring affairs. You got big games. So this total is 54 and a half. It's been bet down a half by the public. It started at 55, but whatever. This game is going to shoot. I think Mike Williams is good for 25. So that's what I'm thinking.
Mike Williams, to me, I see this, and that's one of those plays. I mean, these wide receivers you have, it's giving me a little. I'm a little concerned here, little PTSD from last year when you blasted me. But Mike Williams is one of those guys I'm waiting for everybody else to just start to pay attention to. It's like it's all in front of us. It's a matter of just realizing, oh, that's right. Mike Williams is a serious play. I think it's going to be a constant this year.
Yeah, well, I think we both got some good plays so far. I'm leaning it's pretty even, but I know that you've got some fire coming up next. Ooh, let's talk about our tight ends here. You have Travis Kelce averaging it's just a smooth 26.3, in 2 games. And then I've got Hawkinson at 23.2, and they're both in plus matchups. I think PFF has Kelce as the best matchup this week. And then Hawkinson is down, a few grades, but still, I mean, you like it.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, what can you say that's not been said before? Again, you said it all. The averaging of the points is insane. 25.6 in week 1, 26.9 in week 2. It's a positive matchup for him. To me, this is the thing. It's like we talk about redraft a lot, and like you want to just not worry about tight end. Draft a Travis Kelce. You know what?
Right.
You want to go ahead and you want to relax a tight end in DraftKings, then do what I did. Be smart. Take a look at some of the trends and some of these cheaper wide receivers, and then be very comfortable at tight end and know that at least at one position you've got production locked up. And that's how I feel about Travis Kelce.
No, I agree. And here was my thought about him this week. I think that he will finish with 25 points, but I think Hawkinson will too. So I'm trying to save that $3,000, because that's the kind of cheap bastard I am. So I want Hawkinson because I love his matchup. Linebackers are out. Front end is out. Hawkinson's the wide receiver 1 on that team. We all said he would be. I remember people throwing some shade and saying, Hawkinson is not going to be that good. He's going to have Jared Goff throwing to him. It's going to be terrible. He's going to not get a lot of targets. To all of you who said that, you are not understanding how football works.
You people suck.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but I will find you, and I have a certain set of skills, and it will be to make fun of you because DJ Hawkinson he's my tight end 3 this year. For me, it went Kelce, Waller, Hawkinson. Boom, boom, boom. That was it. And so I love Hawk. And wait, hold on. Wait. You love
Aha.
Fucker. What in the world is going on?
That's right.
You got me.
I talked about it earlier. Quintez Cephas is the second most targeted player on the Detroit Lions. The most targeted one is your tight end, my flex, TJ Hawkinson. And I decided to listen. This year, it was like you were just saying about Hawkinson getting all this love now, and you want to find these guys that said that he wouldn't get that kind of love under Jared Goff. Well, he's getting it, and to me, I can rely on Travis Kelce, and I can rely on Hawkinson. I feel like Hawkinson is like not even a poor man's, but I'll just say it anyway, a poor man's Darren Waller in the sense that he is going to get targeted by his quarterback a lot.
Right.
So I love Hawkinson here. Again, great matchup. You said all the right things. You made it very easy. You laid out the red carpet for me, and I'm just waltzing through. So yeah, Hawkinson's my flex.
I gotta say, what I have here in my flex is a lotto ticket, or which means it could be nothing, or it could keep me in the game with you because Travis Kelce better than my flex.
You gotta talk me into this one. Let me hear this one.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking here. Okay. I could have gone KJ Osborne, who I do like at 3,500. I'm not gonna hate on that at all, right? I like that. In this game, they're up against a pretty good set of cornerbacks and a good set of safeties too. Who are you, if you are the LA Chargers, who are you going to be taking out of this game? Who are you not going to be beat by if you have to not be beat by somebody. What's your thought on that?
I mean, obviously the goal here would be to take out Travis Kelce, but then Tyreek Hill, of course, is those are your main chips you're taking out. Yeah.
Right. And so let's say you're going to take out. I mean, Travis Kelce beats most people because Tyreek Hill takes away a safety and a corner, right?
Very true.
If you're getting bracketed, Travis Kelce is a plus play for you. And then also Mecole Hardman has some upside too, because I think this game is going to shoot. And so let's say that Tyreek Hill does get limited to 22 points or something like that, which is good. He gets a touchdown, right?
Yep.
Mecole Hardman has a chance on the other side, to quad max up here and get 16 points on something easy is like, 7 targets or, 6 receptions for 100 yards, something like that. Not even something big, 89 yards for 7 or something like that. So I'm just trying to get some value here, not break the bank. But if he does get a touchdown or he returns a punt or he returns a kickoff or something, then, yay me. I just do think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. That's why I have on the back end running it back with Mike Williams. But you got Kelce, and so this is where the points are going to go. And we don't have Tyreek Hill, so it's either or for us. And then I'd say we're pretty even until I looked at the end, and then we're dead even here because we both decided to rock out with the Bengals. Talk about that pay down 2,100 that you're looking at.
Yeah, listen, I'm not even gonna let's just cut the foreplay. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna bullshit. Yeah, I've bullshitted my way enough through life. I'm just gonna simply tell you this was a cost cutting measure. This is what happens when you go Kyler Murray, when you go with Cooper Kupp, when you go with Travis Kelce. And then when you go with Hockenson as your flex, you end up with the Bengals as your defense. So this is what happens. This is the way it works. That's it. I have nothing nice to say about the Bengals defense at all. They've got 11 points in 2 weeks. That's it.
I will say that Big Ben has not looked like himself.
Sure.
And so you're down his best weapon in Deontay Johnson. Juju, I've seen that. It's Juju,
But I like Juju this week.
I do, but I'm just saying, as a game script,
I understand. Okay.
Juju is not going to get you there. But on the other side, the Bengals are down, T. Higgins. So, it's tit for tat here in a way of down good players. I wonder if that kind of elevates the defenses and suppresses the score in that game a little bit. So, I think that's what we're both doing, chasing those kind of bad, AFC, what are they? North games. Those, maybe it's raining. Hopefully, I don't know. But no, I love it. I'll put it out to Twitter and let Twitter see who they think. I'll have both these lineups. I can just screen grab and set them out. And who they think is the favorite. I'll Bowman big time. He's always up in my DMs, talking shit about my lineups and how I suck. So, but I love it.
Very nice.
Now, you know what? That guy, he beat me 9 straight times. So after that, he's just I'm just going to talk shit. I get it. It's a lot of times, but still, I appreciate you coming on after I beat you 1 time, actually 2 times if you count the joint effort at the end twice. So
I count them all.
I hope it's not the hat trick. Here's the cool part: you'll send me lineups that you've won on. And you'll be like, check this out. You'll score 220 points or something. And so I appreciate that because to me, you are a DFS head like I am. You're always just kind of chasing it. So I'll leave us with this. Let me ask you a question this week. Not in GPP or not in cash, but in GPP. Who is your favorite play out of all of the plays? Out of everybody this week, in your lineup, you have to have this one guy. Who's your lock of the week for GPP?
Honestly, it's been Quintez Cephas. He's the guy that I have been banking on. I started with the tweets earlier this week. You're looking at the points. You're looking at the targets he's been getting. Again, the second most targeted Detroit Lions player, and now he's going to be in a position where the team's going to have to throw, and now they're going to be down a wide receiver. I think this opens it up for Cephas. Again, 3,900. It's a great play. I love it. I don't think a lot of people are thinking of it. So I definitely think that is a play to make. So I'm all about it.
No, I love it. And if you're not following Michael Hauff, what are you doing, man? You got to make a better life choice.
Really?
I'll go follow him on Twitter. It is at the FF Realist. He is the realest FF that you're going to get out there.
I take pride in it.
Yeah, he does. I love it. He has. I'll let him pump his own stuff, but I'll say he does have a podcast partner, Anthony Savino, who I'm a big fan of. He came on the show last year after he heard that you were coming on the show, and he got a little jealous. He insisted on coming on. I let him know that you were coming on again. He insisted on coming on again this year. So I can't wait. He's coming on next week. But let you share a little bit about your show, because it's one of my favorites. So let people know about it.
Yeah, the FFFaceOff, it's been a labor of love for Anthony and myself. I've had a lot going on in my personal life with work, so I've had to take a backseat a little bit in the podcasting, and I might be getting into it a little bit more, though, so stay tuned. So, but yeah, we've got the website going, which is huge for us. We've got Aaron Schill, who's been helping us out. He is the heartbeat of the FFFaceOff website. Phil Caldwell is doing great stuff with the consistency collection. So, it's just cool now having a website to call home, putting all of our stuff on there, having great writers who are really proud of their work. So, follow me if you want, but above all else, go to FFFaceoff.com and check out all the great work that everybody else is doing on our team. And stay close to the podcast, because I'll be jumping in, including tomorrow. I'll be on actually 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some start-sit questions. Pour a cup of coffee, sit down with us. Pour some Baileys in it if you want to. I won't, but you can. And we'll have a good time.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun. I will be driving home tomorrow from the Outer Banks.
That sounds miserable.
It does. And guess what? I missed week 2 of football driving down here for vacation. Didn't watch a single game because the hubbub of it. So call me an asshole, but I'm making my family get up at 6:30 so we can leave here at 7 so we can get home by around 1 so your boy can watch the football game.
That's not being an asshole. That's called being proactive and thinking ahead.
Thank you. And then I will not be driving. My wife will be driving. I will be setting my lineups, DFSing, listening to podcasts, late swaps if anybody's out there, things like that. Just, of course, managing my fantasy football. But please do go follow Michael. Go follow the FF Faceoff and Anthony and the whole crew over there. I love Phil, by the way.
Love Phil.
Yeah, and so this is really awesome. I appreciate you, Michael, coming on again. Win or lose, this, like we said before, we're going to be donating, to Mike Taglier's GoFundMe, his family's GoFundMe. We just both want to just share, how much we care about their family, love them. And if there's any way we can support them or that you can support them, please reach out. I know that as I went through, some of my, struggles this last couple of years with London, hearing from people and just having kind words said to me really did make a difference, even if it wasn't money or if it wasn't a bunch of time or being best friends with everybody. Just reading strangers' words of encouragement really did mean a lot. And so if Mike touched your life in any way or blessed you or encouraged you, maybe wait and so it's not overwhelming, but maybe write to Tabby, let her know, because he's got a legacy that is, that man every day was talking about fantasy, every day interacting with people, every day being a great guy. So a lot of life lived, and a lot of people loved him. So you just want to, really honor him and, be more like Tags every day.
That's it.
So, well, thank you, brother. You're awesome. Love you. And we're going to do this again every year. And just so you guys know, the DFS Money Shot, it's a reputable show. Even though Mike Reedy was making jokes about the name, it really is, about get that money. You get that one shot. You're going head to head. So, please do stick with us. We'll be back next week with Anthony.
I will just interrupt you and take my shot, and I'll tell you that while our winnings or our losings will go to a good cause, I do guarantee that I beat you this week.
Oh, I love that. I love it. And you do have some bomb-ass wide receivers, some grown-ass men. So I'm a little afraid of the Cooper Cup. I am playing him against Bo, and Bo's playing him against me. So
I'd like to play Bo sometime. You tell Bo to come over to my neck of the woods, and we can play sometime.
Bo would love that. Bo is a head-to-head guru. I got to also say, shout out, I got to get my Patreon lineups in.
Yes.
And then coming up in 15 minutes, I've got Chalk Blocked with Bo McBig Time right here for, we're going to walk the slate. We're going to talk all DFS things. We're going to do Millie Maker. We're going to, talk Occupy Fantasy. We're going to talk Run the Sims. We're going to do the whole shabazz. So
I will tune in.
It's going to be great. I hope I can be less laggy, but you know what? I'm on vacation internet, so I can't beggars users, But,
hey, man, you're on vacation, man. Bless your heart.
No, I'm excited, man. This is the thing. Even though I'm here on vacation, I love content. I love fantasy football. I love people. I love people who love football. Like, if you love football, to me, that means you're a good person. Here's why. Because, if you love it like we do, it means that you watch it and you understand it and you're trying to kind of make predictions about how you think the game is going to go. And so you're thinking about things at a deeper level. You're not just
emotionally invested.
Yeah, and I would just say I don't have any fandom after I quit the Washington football team in 2014. It's been 7 great years of just enjoying football.
How does that happen?
Dan Snyder is just a terrible human being, and he ruined this experience for me.
No, I get that, but that's a discussion for another day. I just don't know how somebody doesn't have a team to root for. I just don't know how that. I don't have that in my DNA.
I'll tell you what I do. Every Sunday, I just root for great games, comebacks, interceptions to win games, field goals at the end, block, and every game something happens. Like, it's miraculous, So not every game, but there's a lot to watch. So I'll be watching it because I'm gonna make my family go home, nice and early tomorrow morning from the Outer Banks and not be stuck in traffic all day. So pray for me and pray for no accidents and people living.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Michael. Please do follow Michael at the FF Realist on Twitter. He's the realist. I mean, he really is, and follow me, Nimble W Numbers, and check out my work over there, nimblewnumbers.com and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And also for the Pat Mayo Network, the Mayo Media Network over there, with Laquan, and lots of great stuff going on. I got to say, I'm honored to be working in this industry and working with some of the best people and getting to have people on like yourself. So go have a great slate tomorrow. Break it, win all the money. We'll see you guys here next week. Peace.